Hey everyone, I'm Tyler Metcalf and I watch the film so you don't have to. On this video, we're taking a look at Virginia Tech freshman Neo Avdalas and his game against Providence where he looked incredible. Now, Avdalas is listed at 6'9", 215 pounds, guard, wing, however you want to classify him. He's a hooper. The kid can just flat out play, and he built up a pretty interesting and passionate fan base last year with some impressive, albeit inconsistent play over in Greece. The flashes were really exciting. They were fun, but I was a little more hesitant. I just wanted to see what the shot looked like after another year, what the decision making, defense, all of it, how consistent could he look, and what would he look like in a college basketball setting. Against Providence, he looked like a top 10 pick at worst. At 6'9", 215 pounds, Avdalas dropped 33 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal, a block, only 2 turnovers on 13 of 23 shooting, 5 of 8 from 3. Whatever he wanted to do on the court, he did it. Let's dive into the game, see how he found success, see why he's looking like not only a potential lottery, but top 10 type of pick in the 2026 NBA draft. Welcome to Film School. Let's dive in. Coming into this year, one of the big selling points on Avdalas was his rim pressure. At 6'9", with his first step, his strength, he was able to get to the rim pretty much whenever he wanted last year, and that seeming to be the case as well. Against Providence, he did a really good job of whether it's just straight blow by drives, showing a little bit of craft in the pick and roll, hesitation moves, just using that length, his frame, and that first step to really attack downhill and put pressure on the rim. Right here, the defense tries to pick him up full court, and his strides are just so much longer than the defender that he can't cut him off. And once you get stuck on Avdalas's hip or his back, it's so difficult to get back rim side of him because of how fast he is and because of how big he is. I love this one though. First glance, it looks like just a straight line drive, but I love this little hesitation he throws in here. Right there, we see him just a slight little hesitation, and that freezes the help defender here. So we can see 55 is looking to slide over and cut off this drive, but that little hesitation just makes him pause for long enough where he doesn't end up making that rotation, and Avdalas has a really clean path to the rim. And we see number 2 as well. That this little hesitation right here freezes to, he thinks he's circling back. He's already overly anticipating it just a little too early. That's just enough for Avdalas to, again, blow right past him. It's not like a crazy hesitation move. He doesn't totally slam on the brakes or anything, but it's just enough to freeze both defenders and create a really easy look at the rim. Here, similar thing, just first step, blows past his defender. Low miscommunication on the pick and roll here by the defense, where it looks like 2 thinks that they're icing it, and the drop defender just doesn't really help out at all here. And Avdalas just blows past him, uses his long strides, really like the high secure through the help dig, gets downhill, and then extends with that strong hand. No one's going to be able to block this. At 6'9", really good job of using his frame to protect the ball, extending with that strong hand, and dropping in the layup. Here, little DHO action, and he just takes what the defense gives him. As he comes off the screen, or the handoff, really nice screen by Amani Hansberry, and now Avdalas has all this space to attack down into, and he just takes what the defense gives him. As he keeps attacking, and he knows his primary defender's on his back, and he's just trying to read what this drop defender is doing. He never really commits to Avdalas. Avdalas gets within, 7-8 feet, and just rises up and drops in a little floater. His primary defender ends up getting a little bit of a late contest here, but when we look at Avdalas' size, his release point, his eye line, it's nowhere near enough to actually affect it. Shows off the scoring touch, drops it in. This one I really like because it's not just that first step and just using his frame. We're seeing a little bit of craft and nuance in his pick and roll creation. So, again, really good screen by Hansberry, and that gets rid of Avdalas' primary defender, and Avdalas does a really nice job of snaking back through here. He's patient. He waits for his primary defender to try to recover. Avdalas puts him in jail, which really toys with this drop defender, who now, as Hansberry dives, the drop defender has to recover back to Hansberry, but Avdalas does a really good job of just sliding right through there, reusing Hansberry's dive and seal as just a secondary screen. And Hansberry does a great job of holding off basically both defenders here. And this initial job by Avdalas of hesitating, pausing, being really patient and composed in traffic, putting his defender in jail, ensures that once he comes back off the screen, that there's no chance that Seven's going to be able to affect the shot at all. 55 can't get through Hansberry, and Avdalas is able to finish on the other side with his left hand. So just like last year, we're seeing Avdalas get to the rim whenever he wants because of the physical tools, but also now we're seeing more and more craft and patience and composure creating out of the pick and roll as well. At his size, that rim pressure is always going to be a huge threat for Neo. And we knew that coming into the season, but it was, all right, well, if defenders can sit on that, it's a little easier to guard him. That may not be the case anymore if Neo continues to shoot the way that he did in this game against Providence, because the threat of his rim pressure really sets up a ton of pull-up opportunities, a ton of step-back opportunities, and he showcased that he's super comfortable and versatile with those shots. So here, just high pick and roll, gets the switch, and I love how just patient and methodical he is here. So drives, slams on the brakes, his primary defender does a nice job of cutting off the drive. Avdalas sees the really aggressive help out of the strong side corner to take away that driving lane, slams on the brakes, cuts back, and now he's going back middle. As he does, 11's, again, still doing a really good job of staying in between him and the rim, but Avdalas plants that right foot, gets the defender leaning a little bit because of his momentum and his threat of getting downhill, and generates a ton of space on this mid-range step back. Look at where he plants that right foot. I love how long his strides are, how he really elongates his strides getting downhill. So left foot planted here at the elbow, extends all the way into the middle of the lane with that right foot, and then really propels himself backwards. Great mechanics, high release point. Defender does a really good job, or about as good of a job as he can possibly do on this possession, but with the space that Avdalas created, that high release point, really fluid mechanics, he's able to drop it in. On this one, again, side pick and roll, empty corner. Avdalas does a really good job coming off the screen. Hansberry setting another lethal screen, common theme throughout this game, and we can see him start to snake back towards the middle like we did during some of those rim pressure clips. But instead, Hansberry's popping here. Drop defenders in his way. The other three help defenders are all in the lane, and Avdalas's primary defender is going back towards the elbow to cut off that driving lane. Avdalas sees all of this. So instead of forcing it, he just plants that left foot, explodes into where the space is. He doesn't try and force a skip pass, force a kickback to Hansberry. He's feeling it. He's in a groove right now. So as he comes off the screen, he knows that the space on the floor is over here to his right in the corner. So he plants that left foot, gets the drop defender leaning one way, explodes into the space, covers a ton of ground, high release point, creates a ton of space, little bit of a late contest, but at this point, that's a wide open jumper that he, again, knocks down with ease. This one, the comfort level and the confidence to just step into this like this. Shot clock starting to run a little low, and he's like, you know what, screw it. Little hang dribble, step back, pull up. He's got the switch on the opposing center, who's wary of getting blown past and giving up a drive or giving up a layup. So instead, he's trying to give Avdalas a little bit of cushion here. Avdalas recognizes it, little jab step, great mechanics. Yet again, leaning back a little bit in his shot. Not too worried about it when you shoot 5 of 8 from 3 in a game. I'll take it, but just the comfort level and the confidence there was what really stood out. Here, he denies the screen and gets both defenders to commit, gets his primary defender leaning, and this is where the threat of that rim pressure really, really highlights, because we can see his defender's hips are parallel to the baseline. So Avdalas knows that now that he has his defender turned and all of his momentum is going towards the baseline, that another firm plant of that right foot steps back. We can see how much space he creates with his defender flying past him, desperate to not give up that drive. Avdalas launches himself backwards behind the 3 point line, rises up, somewhat of a late contest, decent job, but really good space creation, and Avdalas drops it in. So the confidence in Neo's shooting from outside really on display in this game. 8 attempts, five makes. You love to see it, but also just the versatility of his shots, where it wasn't just standing in the corner, it wasn't just wide open stuff. He was creating off the bounce. He was leveraging his rim pressure and his athletic tools to create that space and create those shooting opportunities. Is a really encouraging all around integration of his all of his on ball scoring tools in one game. At his size, though, Avdalas will inevitably have to play off ball a lot. And that's going to require him to still be a threat as an off ball shooter. Now, he's not yet a big time movement shooter. Who knows? At this rate, I'm not ruling anything out. But he looked really confident, really comfortable, and really consistent shooting off the catch as well. So, as we can see throughout these clips, we have a little mid range catch and shoot, just dives off that screen, catches it, recognizes he has a cushion, pulls up, knocks down a little baseline jumper. Here I love the relocation. Comes off the screen by Hansberry. That's deep. This is really deep, and he catches it in stride, hops right into it. Really comfortable, confident. Similar thing here. Just spotting up as the outlet guy in the corner. Defenders enraptured by Hansberry on the drive. He's ball watching a little bit. Avdalas just lifts just that step higher, hops into it, high release point, consistent mechanics, nothing but net. Relocation, really good job here as well. Just as the play develops, he circles out. His defender is caught ball watching. Avdalas high hand signaling for it, and about as wide open as you can be. So if he continues to knock down these shots, it's going to make him more malleable. It's going to make him more versatile. It's going to make him more reliable as just an all-around offensive weapon who can play on ball, but also being able to play off ball. Not only in college basketball, but in today's NBA is absolutely crucial. And in this game, he showed all of it. Now, the next offensive leap that I'm really excited to see Avdalas make, aside from just consistency with the scoring and shooting, is the playmaking. There were some really good flashes. The numbers were fine. The instincts were good. Just some of the refinement. A lot of this is going to be nitpicking because the vast majority of his passing today or against Providence was really good, but it can always be better. And I think in this game, that was the one offensive area where I was like, okay, you're in a good spot, but if this takes another leap, we're going to be in scary territory. So here we can see him just operating in ISO, just simple blow by, and similar to the scoring, he's able to get paint touches whenever he wants, and this time he attracts all four help defenders plus his primary, totally collapses the defense, makes the smart read, kicks it out to the corner, right on the money. Wide open shot. Tyler Johnson just can't knock it down, but really good process. And it's stuff like that is super repeatable for him. And if the help defenders don't come, then he's finishing at the rim anyways. Here we see him on the left wing, just turns his defender, drives baseline. And again, we see him attract all four help defenders to collapse down into the paint. Two of them really aggressively on him as he drives. He sees that. He sees both 55 and the weak side defender collapsed over onto basically the strong side block. So he knows that Tyler Johnson's, again, going to be wide open in that opposite corner, kicks it out, good pass, knocks it down. Only nitpick here is as we watch the flight of the ball here, it's just a little rounded. He could put a little more zip on it, put it a little more on a frozen rope to make sure that this defender doesn't get that late of a closeout, isn't able to close out at all. And instead, if Tyler Johnson's catching it like here, in terms of where the defender is in his rotation, that's going to make the look even cleaner for him or make the closeout by the defender more aggressive so then Johnson can fly by. So, again, the process, the instincts here on the pass, really good. Would just like to see a little more zip on it so it gets there a little quicker. And that same thought process of getting it there a little quicker showed up on his lobs as well. So here, Toby Lawal, rim running, freak athlete, and really good process by Avdalas. The timing's not bad. I'm getting it out a little quicker. He doesn't really need to leave his feet here because you're 6'9", dude. Just lob it up there. You're lobbing it to a guy who has an almost 50-inch vertical. Just toss it up. But he eventually does. The problem is that he leaves it here. And he just has to get it up closer to the rim. Lawal's a freak athlete. He's able to catch and finish, gets the foul too. But just that little refinement to make his teammates' life a little easier, increase the chances of Lawal making this basket from good to almost 100%, would make a big difference because he's leaving that lob way too short. Good process, iffy execution. And exact same thing here with Hansberry too. So pick and roll, Providence blitzes it, plays at the level. Great recognition by Avdalas to see 11 hasn't rotated down. Hansberry's going to be left open on this roll, and he lobs it up. But again, leaves it too short. Hansberry has to slam on the brakes. Avdalas doesn't get it over the defender. Defender's able to get back in time, recover, get a deflection, even though there's all of this space behind. Avdalas leaves it short. Hansberry still, corrals it, kicks it out. They have to reset the offense, but just a little bit of easily avoidable stuff and easily improvable stuff where if he just makes those passes a little crisper, gets them there a little quicker, his teammates' life are going to be so much easier. The process with Avdalas' passing in this game, really good, really encouraging. Just needs to refine it a little bit. So where does that leave us with Neo Avdalas? Now, coming into the year, I wasn't out, I wasn't in. I was just waiting to see what it all looked like. I thought some of his stuff with Peristeri last year in Greece was really fun. I thought some of the numbers and efficiency and just consistency also wasn't quite as good as what people were hyping him up as. I just needed to see a little more. That patience, that hesitation is gone. I'm in. He looks like a top 10 guy right now. I know it's one game. I know it's early in the season. We got a ton of ball left to play. But what Avdalas showed against Providence is exactly what we want to see from top 10 lottery type of players. And if he's able to maintain anything similar to this throughout the rest of the season, we're going to be getting in scary territory with him. The offense was terrific. Real 3-level scoring stuff. Impressive passing, processing. Just needs to refine some stuff. If we're nitpicking, I know this video is all about his offense. There's some good defensive stuff. There's some less than good defensive stuff. But at his size, at 6'9", 215, his room for error, or his margin for error, is so much greater than basically anyone else on the court. So I really want to see what his screen navigation continues to look like. He struggled with that in this game. The defensive footwork was pretty sloppy at times, crossing his feet a lot, but he's huge. So he's able to recover a little quicker and a little more effectively than other guys. But if he's going to be an elite defender or just a really, really good defender, he has to clean up the footwork stuff. There were some possessions where it looked fantastic, just not possession by possession stuff. So going forward, it's going to be fascinating to see what type of scoring and shooting efficiency can Avdalas maintain. If this stuff is real and persists throughout the entire year, he could be one of the top 5, top 10 players called in the 2026 NBA draft.